Good evening, everyone. I am Iqbal from Engineers Hub. Mr. Negi has introduced me to you some 2 days back, and at that time, I have elaborated the program that we have been planning in physics, mostly engineering physics, and as per the PPT I have presented on that day, I intend to start giving lectures on the concepts of dielectric materials and magnetic materials, and I should have started the topic right now directly, but after rethinking about the concepts to be given later on subsequently, I thought it more proper for me to start my lecture series with a brief review of the concepts of vectors, because physics is nothing without the concept of vectors having been used in the course of discussions. And you are already familiar with the concepts of vectors from the +1 +2 stage itself, but still from my experience with my students, or where I have taught my students for the last 30 years, most of the students have some sort of a doubt regarding the applicability of vectors. They prefer not to use vectors, and therefore that is because they feel the concept as a little kind of difficult for them to comprehend, and therefore it is always better first, even if you have good idea about the concept of vectors, still it is always better to make a beginning with a fast review of the concepts of vectors. Then we go on to the concepts of dielectric materials or magnetic materials or any physics, and in the course of our discussion subsequently, as and when a detail is required over a particular definition of vector, then we will be digressing there itself to make a detail of that vector concept therein for regarding that topic we would be discussing subsequently. But now we make the very basic introduction to the review, or not introduction, is review of the vector concept for us to make things easier to follow later on. So as you know, vectors are the quantities that have both direction and magnitude, as different from scalars. Scalars have only magnitude. Magnitude is size, to say. So if you have taken an object AB, and if I measure the length of this object from A to B as 10 meters, then I would say the magnitude of this object is 10 meters. That 10 meters are the value AB, is the value of AB, the length AB. So AB, the magnitude of AB, we say is 10 meters. Units may be anything. If we are using SI units, we write meters. CS units, we write centimeters, or anything what we intend to. So it is only the value 10 that is important for our discussion right now. AB is called a scalar quantity. If I intend to represent this length AB as some A, then I would say A is a scalar quantity. A is a scalar quantity of length 10 meters. This length 10 meters is what we call as a magnitude. And when it comes to vector, as you are already familiar, vectors have both direction and magnitude. Just as a scalar has a magnitude, a vector also has a magnitude. Apart from magnitude, it also has the facility of specifying the direction of the vector. So we use it specifically. Let us say a person has started his journey from a place A to a place B along east. Then he had traveled a distance of 10 kilometers before reaching the point B. So we would say the length of this or the distance AB is 10 kilometers. But now to specify the direction of motion, we will say he has traveled along east. To give a sentence like he's traveled along east is easier. Representing mathematically, we prefer writing it as AB with an arrow overhead, A to B, representing that the starting point of his journey is A and the end point is B. Supposing he returned later in the day from B to A. Now his journey has been from B and has terminated after reaching the point A. He traveled the same distance of 10 kilometers in the other direction, reverse direction, that now he has traveled in the west direction, not the east direction. Direction has changed, distance is same, length is same. So in this case also, the value of the length of journey BA remains same as 10 kilometers, but the vector has a different starting point B and a different ending point A. So the vector now becomes BA bar, starting point first, ending point next, BA bar. So BA bar and AB bar, as it appears, could not be one and the same, at least appearance point of view. But then how are they different? We would say if AB bar is pointing to east, then BA bar is pointing to west. So this east-west representation is applied mathematically with a symbol of minus sign here, and AB bar we write as minus BA bar. The negative symbol, minus symbol, says that the direction has reversed. If he is traveling along east, A to B, now he is traveling along west, B to A. So this minus symbol in vectors has a prominence, has an importance. It plays a very important role to say that the direction has completely changed. Completely, 180 degrees, out of phase. So from here, he is traveling backwards, back to the same point. It's like you throw a ball up, the ball goes upwards some 10 meters into the air vertically and drops down. Means it's going upwards one direction plus positive y direction, it is positive, and again coming downwards, it is negative y direction. If I draw the diagram here, so a man throws a ball upwards, so it reaches the top point from the ground G to the point Y, let us say, and from here it drops down back to the ground, same point from where it was thrown, and traveling both ways, it traveled the same length, same height. So the height is same, let us say 10 meters I told you. So travel upwards 10 meters, travel downwards 10 meters, still the directions are different. In the first case, Gy is along the positive y direction and Yg it is along the minus y direction, negative y direction. Directions are reversed. So this vector Gy is upwards positive, the vectors Yg is downwards negative, Gy bar is minus of Yg bar, like that. So wherever the direction changes completely, then we put a negative symbol. But there is some rule, because in vectors there should always be some kind of a rule to make things easier. For this point, for that point of view, we need to study some laws, some guiding laws. In the case of vectors, one is law of addition, the other is product of vectors. Addition of vectors and product of vectors. Addition of vectors is whenever there are 2 vectors or 3 vectors or 4 vectors, whatever number it is, we add those vectors vectorially. So let us say there are 2 vectors. Basically, we start with only 2 vectors, A bar and B bar. So A bar is one vector, B bar is another vector. Vector means they have a direction, and we write A bar is like this and B bar is like this. Then vector addition. addition of two vectors requires that when we add these two vectors, we get another vector C bar, which is equal to A bar plus B bar, and C bar equals to A bar plus B bar does not mean C equals to A plus B. It cannot be, because there is a direction between A bar and B bar. In this case, this is the direction. They are separated. Because direction is involved, A bar is separated from B bar by some angle theta. If A bar is along east, B bar is along west, then this angle is 180 degrees. A bar points to east, B bar points to west, the angle is 180 degrees. And here it may be some 60 degrees. A bar is 60 degrees or B bar is 60 degrees away from A bar. Likewise, the angles may be, or they may be 90 degrees apart. A bar points to east, B bar points to north. The angle now is 90 degrees. So angles are different. As the angle changes, the law says that the value of C bar also will be different. So to find out that value is not the magnitude, we call it as the magnitude. We need to define this law, of course. This law says that when two vectors A bar and B bar are like this, separated by an angle theta, then if you complete this as a parallelogram, then the resultant of these two vectors A bar and B bar together acting on the point O, resultant of these two vectors A bar and B bar is along the diagonal OC, which is equal to A bar plus B bar. So it says that when A bar is along the side of a parallelogram, B bar is along another side of parallelogram, then we write C bar, which is along the diagonal here, is equal to A bar plus B bar. This is based upon the law of addition. The law of addition says that we represent the vectors A bar and B bar in such a way, if we draw A bar like this, then B bar is drawn from the point where A bar ends, like this. So A bar is a vector, and I put it as O, this as A, this as B. So O to A, the vector is A bar, A to B, the vector is B bar. Then the law of addition says that the sum of these two vectors is obtained by joining the starting point with the ending point. The starting point is O, where we have started the first vector O to A. The ending point is B, where the second vector has ended at the point B. So OB bar, we will say, is equal to, is like say a person is walking from the post O to the post B, end post B. He can do so in two ways. He can start from O, reach straight to the point B directly, or he can start from O, reach the point A, O to A, that is one vector, again from A to B, the other vector. The goal is always the same thing, reaching the point B. The end point, his home it is. So he started with his starting point O, reached midway somewhere A, from there he is back to the point B. And or if he doesn't want to visit the point A, he can go straight to B. So therefore O to A, A to B. Okay. O to A to B is same as O to B. So OB bar is equal to OA bar plus AB bar. This is the law of addition. If OB bar is the vector C bar, then we substitute C bar is equal to A bar plus B bar. So the law says that it's called a triangle law of vectors. Law of addition is also called a triangle law of vectors. OA bar plus AB bar. That means A bar and B bar form the two sides of a triangle. A bar and B bar form the two sides of a triangle. And then the third side represents the sum of those two vectors A bar and B bar. So OB bar is equal to OA bar plus AB bar, or C bar equals to A bar plus B bar. This is true for any number of vectors. Suppose I have a vector A bar like this. This is, let us take it as O, starting point. This is the point A. Again, there is another vector B. This is the point vector. Vectors represented by arrow only. So the arrow of first vector A bar ends at A. Where it ends, the second vector starts. So from here, the second vector B bar has started up to the point B. And again, C vector, third vector C bar also has started. I have taken three vectors. This is C. Then the sum, addition of the vectors requires that we add the starting point with the ending point to give the resultant vector OC. So OC bar is C bar, not C bar, it is, let us say, R bar. So R bar is resultant must be equal to somewhere. What is, how do you get that? It is like saying that we start from O, we reach the point, we need to reach the point C. Our goal is reaching the point C. How many ways can we do is any number of ways, but we have chosen the specific path, that is O to A we have started, A to B we have moved, and from B to C the ultimate point having been reached, the point C. Or we can start at the point O straight to the point C without hopping over to the points A and B. That is a straight path, that is called resultant. Straight path is the resultant path. So OC bar is the straight path joining the starting point with the end point. So OC bar is R bar is the same as traveling from O to A. So OC bar is same as traveling from O to A. OA bar again A to B, again B to C. So R bar resultant is OA bar is A bar, AB bar is B bar, BC bar is C bar. So this is extendable. This is extendable to any number of vectors. R bar equals to A bar plus B bar plus C bar. And we have spoken about the parallelogram law of vectors here. So this one is having a triangle here. So triangle law is a part of the parallelogram law. Parallelogram law of vectors gives the resultant of two vectors, only two vectors. So A bar is one vector, B bar is another vector. A bar and B bar, they form the two sides of a parallelogram. Then the diagonal represents the resultant, that is OC is the diagonal, represents the resultant. So OC bar equals to OA bar plus AC bar. AC bar is a vector parallel to OB bar, because this is a parallelogram, these two sides are equal, size is same. Those two sides are pointing in the same direction. Direction also is same. When two vectors have the same magnitude and same direction, they are said to be parallel vectors. So here this OB, this point I haven't given the names here, OA, this is OB, this is OC. So OA and OB, two vectors, two sides are parallelogram. OA and OB is same as AC. AC and OB are parallel vectors. So therefore, if OB is B bar, AC is also equal to B bar. Now in this triangle, applying the triangle law of vectors, OA and AC are the two sides of a triangle. Therefore, resultant gives the value of this sum, C bar equals to A bar plus B bar. That is actually the parallelogram law of vectors also. C bar equals to A bar plus B bar represents the resultant value of the vector C bar. And in case we are applying the parallelogram law vectors for the forces, two forces are acting on the same object. Two forces are acting on the same object. So there is a force F1 bar, there is an object here, and there is another force F2 bar acting on the same object. These two forces are not acting in the same direction. They are separated by an angle theta. So therefore, this can be a part of a parallelogram law. So we apply the parallelogram law vectors to find resultant. So this is the resultant. We complete the parallelogram and the diagonal direction gives the value of resultant force. So resultant force F bar by the law of parallelogram law vectors, it is F bar is equal to F1 bar plus F2 bar. To find the magnitude, that is, what is the value of this vector, modulus of F bar, we call as the value or the magnitude. To find this magnitude, we now need to define what you call as the dot product. So dot product is the product of two vectors. It is also called as scalar product. Dot product is same as scalar product. So we take two vectors A bar and B bar. When they are vectors, obviously they have directions. So we represent these two vectors spontaneously as having two different directions like this, A bar and B bar having an angle of separation theta between them. But now we need to find out their product. This product is given the name dot product because there is another type of product called vector product. Dot product is a scalar quantity, whereas vector product is a vector quantity. As the name says, it is a vector quantity. We will come to this later, but now we concentrate only on the dot product, two vectors A bar and B bar. As the name suggests, it has to have a dot in between those two. This dot is important when you write the dot product. The dot has to be a big dot, has to be represented, shown with clarity. A bar dot B bar, and should always be accompanied by bars over the symbols A and B, because without bar you don't define a vector there. So A bar dot B bar, by definition, it is equal to modulus of A bar. Modulus of A bar means it is the magnitude of the vector A bar. Remember that modulus, when put two vertical lines with a vector in between, it represents only the positive value. We are taking only the positive value, absolute value. So modulus of A bar multiplied by modulus of B bar. This is a scalar quantity. This also is a scalar quantity multiplied by the trigonometric ratio cos theta, cosine of the angle separating A bar and B bar cos. Remember, cos theta also is a scalar quantity which may have a positive value, also a negative value. It doesn't matter for us. So A bar dot B bar is defined as mod A bar mod B bar times cos theta. That is the value. This is called because in this product, definition of the product, all the right hand side values are scalar quantities. The product of three scalar quantities again is a scalar quantity. That's why dot product also is called a scalar product. Dot product also is called a scalar product. Now, supposing I have taken the same vector, that means if I assume B bar is the same as A bar, that means instead of A bar and B bar, I am making the product of A bar and A bar. That is, if I write A bar dot A bar, A bar dot A bar is wherever B bar is there, replace with A bar only. So it is modulus of A bar, again modulus of A bar, cos, what is theta? We are speaking about the same vector. Same vector means it has the same magnitude and same direction. Same direction, two vectors having the same direction means it is an A bar. Again A bar here. Both have the same magnitude. Both point in the same direction. Parallel there. So theta must be equal to 0 degrees. The angle is 0. So cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. So therefore A bar dot A bar is modulus of A bar we write as A. We just dispense with the bar. No bar means it is scalar. So A bar without bar is A. And again this one is A. And cos 0 is 1. So this will be equal to A square. So A bar dot A bar is A square. Common sense says anyways B bar dot B bar is B square, but technically, mathematically, by definition we should be showing it that way only. Therefore A bar dot A bar is A square, or A coming the other way around is square root of A bar dot A bar. That means if you want to find out the magnitude of a vector A, then we need to find out the dot product of the vector A bar dot A bar and take the square root of that value. Square root of A bar dot A bar gives the value of magnitude. Technically, mathematically, that is the expression we will be using wherever we need to find out the value of the magnitude of any vector. Supposing we find the value of some other vector x bar modulus we write is x. By definition now, just as we defined now, it must be equal to x bar dot x bar. In the previous frame, we have represented C bar resultant vector as A bar plus B bar. I need to find out the value of its magnitude, modulus of C bar. I will write it as C. Therefore, by definition, it has to be equal to square root of C bar dot C bar. And we substitute for C bar now the value of A bar plus B bar. So it is A bar plus B bar dot A bar plus B bar. Expand it, we get C, the magnitude is square root of A bar. We follow a rule. We take the first one, multiply with the 2. It is only dot product. A bar dot A bar, because there is a dot in between these two. So it is A bar dot A bar, first one, A bar to A bar, again A bar to B bar, plus A bar dot B bar, plus next B bar dot A bar, next B bar dot B bar. As we know, by the application of the definition of dot product is, let us say there are two vectors x bar and y bar. It is modulus of x bar, modulus of y bar into cos of the angle between them. Just to show it differently, I have made use of different variables x and y instead of a and b. So A bar dot A bar is, because the angle theta is 0, same vectors, similar vectors. So it will be A square plus, if you expand this, it will be modulus of A bar, modulus of, by definition, B bar, cos of the angle between the two vectors, if it is theta, plus B bar dot A bar is again by the same definition, modulus of B bar, modulus of A bar, cos of the angle between the same two vectors, B bar and A bar angle is same, theta, and B bar dot B bar is again B square. So we will put it in square root, under square root here, and this is A square plus AB cos theta, because mod A bar is A, mod B bar is B, BA cos theta plus B square. Because AB cos theta is same as BA cos theta, this will be A square plus 2AB cos theta plus B square under square root. This gives the value of the magnitude of C. So in the previous example, we are speaking about two vectors f1 bar and f2 bar. Two vectors separated by an angle theta. It's instead of A bar and B bar. So we can find out the resultant vector of those two like this. So F1 F bar is equal to F bar equals to F1 bar plus F2 bar, and therefore F is the magnitude, which is same as modulus of F bar is modulus of F1 bar plus F2 bar. It should be equal to square root of, by our definition just now we discussed, it has to be first vector square F1 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos angle is theta. We have taken the vector, I'll draw the diagram here again. I have taken the vector F1 bar, one force acting on an object, pulling the object in this direction. Same time another force F2 bar is acting in the same object. These two forces are not acting in the same direction. They have having an angle theta in between them. So F1 F2 cos theta plus F2 square. F2 square. Supposing if F1 and F2 are applied in opposite directions, F1 bar, two children pulling the same stool, same chair into different directions, opposite directions, the angle of the force applied, two forces applied, separated by 180 degrees. These two forces are separated by an angle 180 degrees or pi radians. So then theta is equal to 180, because F1 is along east, F2 is along west. So it will be F1 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos 180 plus F2 square under square root. So this gives the value of resultant as F1 minus F2. So F is F1 minus F2, because cos 180 is minus 1, it will be F1 square minus 2 F1 F2 plus F2 square, which is equal to square root of F1 minus F2 whole square, or F equals to F, obviously because one force pulls to the right, other force pulls to the left, tug of war, whoever is stronger will be the winner. So if F1 is greater, it will be F1 minus F2. If F2 is greater, it will be F2 minus F1. Negative value you get. F1 minus F2 becomes negative. Negative means it is the force along the west is more or dominating than the force along the west, east. Okay, that's what, because vectorially everything is conceivable, can be thought of, can be imagined very clearly. So this is the concept of the product, the dot product, and the law of addition. And now finally there is this very important law, the second law I told you about, that is a vector product. It's called the, we have dealt with the dot product. We have dealt with the dot product, now it will be dealing with the vector product. So VAC. This is a very important concept for physics. We speak about the same two vectors, A bar and B bar, having an angle theta between them. Let us say these two vectors are on the same plane. Let us say on the floor I am standing, I draw two lines. One is A bar straight to the east, the other one is B bar making some angle theta on the same floor. I am standing on the floor. So those two vectors lie on the same plane. So when those two vectors are lying on the same plane, this is a top view, we are looking from the top. Then the product A bar plus B bar, we call it vector product, is also called as cross product, just as the dot product is called cross product. it says that the product A bar cross B bar. This symbol X represents cross. We need to spell out as cross. So A bar cross B bar is modulus of A bar, modulus of B bar. Instead of cos, we write as sine of the angle between them. If I stop here, then modulus of A bar is a scalar quantity, modulus of B bar is again a scalar quantity, sine theta also is a scalar quantity. The right hand side will become a scalar, whereas according to definition, cross product is not a scalar quantity, it is also a vector quantity. Therefore, it has to be continued by adding and putting another vector n cap. N stands for normal. The symbol cap, we call it as cap, it represents, it is a unit vector. What is a unit vector? A unit vector, the magnitude is 1. I will continue with the cross product and applications later. So, see you. Good evening. Bye.